up in the top 10. She plays in so many Warzone, Call of Duty tournaments. She's a great influencer, a great talent in general as a streamer, and now she's up there in at least in 9th place. We have 20 teams, so that's a great spot to be in. Sean J, this could very well be one of her biggest performances if she can continue with that same energy. So might be worth kind of watching and seeing what she's going to be up to. But like you said, I mean, Noobs being up there makes sense. And one thing I will say, though, Noobs wasn't in top 10 last week. So it is nice to see them coming around this week. And again, maybe that meta change that we had right from the community feedback, 1 sniper per team, no signal 50s. I think it's helping him quite a bit, but Sean J, great. Get to see what she's up to. Currently 9th place. Can she do a little more?
Yeah, and we only saw this trio briefly last time, so I'm very grateful we get to see them finally in full force here today. Intex, standout player. Sean J, great vibes, great in the comms as well. She oftentimes makes some ridiculous reads on players and is able to get in position to clean up a squad or two. And Believe to round out this trio. Very interested to know what they're going to do for the majority of today. We'll see how things continue to work out. But to start for Game 2, I think, again, the big takeaway after Game 1 was granted. TBE closed it out. They put up, so far, the highest kill count we've seen in this tournament, which is 28 eliminations. But the standout is always going to be, for me, Biffle and company still 2nd place, and we didn't really see much of them in the late zone. That's going to be interesting, whether or not teams will start to recognize, all right, like, we need to start hunting this trio because they are consistently being a problem in the top 4. We want to take them out of that spot.
There's Intex on your screen. Intex playing with Sean J. This time around, right, she's with Believe and Intex, who are 2 incredibly powerful players, and it could be a reason why she's able to break into top 10. Last week was playing with Velocities and Soundy. 2 good players, but I mean, Believe and Intex, in my opinion, are really just a step above. They're constantly grinding. They were competing in World Series of Warzone, and now they're competing with Sean J. And now we really get to see them flex, right? Sean J is down. Intex and Believe, can they carry the torch?
Yeah, well, granted, you still have a lot of time before we close that portal for Resurgence to come back in and for your teammates to get back up. So there's opportunities here to lower that count and get your teammates back to full strength as we do so just now. The important part is that the trio is still alive and kicking with one elimination so far to the name of Intex. But still a lot of gunfights to get through, and Believe on the opposite side. I think working through the water side might have pinged a player or 2, and if so, I like this aggression we're seeing early on, really pouncing on opportunities to take down teams early.
Might as well.
You have to. This is where you get at least, I would say, a strong start, but more importantly, you know, quite a few of your eliminations. Naturally, you'll get those as well in the end game when that zone is so close and everybody's tightly compacted, but you can afford to be aggressive off the rip because you have those respawns as long as somebody stays up. We transfer to Huskerrs and his roster. It's going to be Dongi and Solidify. Solidify and Dongi, very, very talented players. Obviously, Huskerrs, we know him from really the beginning of Warzone competitive and making good on that legacy. Great shots from the water. He's going to pick up his first elimination.
And again, back to someone of the high ground. Never mind, we're relinquishing it right back down to earth. That's great. But Huskerrs, regardless, still just flying and roaming and kind of being that backline presence that this team so often relies on. Whether or not it was the Signal 50 last week or here, having him as an AR is very important to the success of that trio. Jump over to Swagg and company. One of the first times, again, we've seen Swagg in this tournament. Back to full strength for this group. Super Evan and Z Colors did really all they could last week, but we're just caught in some really sticky situations. Maybe things will change and turn around for this trio. So good when it comes to putting up multiple eliminations game after game. They can put 15, 20 on the board consistently.
Swagg tries to throw the smoke so he can get away, but he gets dropped as soon as he throws it. It goes over to Z Colors and his crew, and Z Colors will at least get 1, and so will Super Evan to stay up to allow Swagg to come back into play. I brought it up last week, but for those who don't know, maybe Resurgence as well, the more eliminations you pick up when you have a teammate down, their respawn counter is going to drop. So let's say it starts at 20 seconds or 25 seconds. The more elims you get, it then goes down to 10 seconds. Then who knows, they're going to be right back in. And that's why Swagg was able to come back in so quickly, because Z Colors as well as Super Evan were picking up elims. So the trio they ran into, good on them. They pick up those elims. This is a trio a lot of people want to do well. They're not in top 10 now. They're looking to do it after game 2.
And yeah, the panic you're hearing right now is not so much panic about the situation of the trios in front of them. Yes, they want to pick up those elims, but it's recognizing that when Swagg was down, we need to pick up these kills so that he gets back into the game quickly. But now we also have an opportunity to put multiple kills on the board with more players trying to challenge us in this power position. So it was really kind of using the opportunity available to you in the circumstance to make the most out of your 2v3 situation you'd have in front. Regardless, back to full strength, that's what you want to see. Zone will close in about 20 seconds or so, but as everything else starts to kind of zone itself out and you see the spread, it really has been the complete control over the cemetery from this trio that's really stood the test of time.
Yeah, well, they're camping a buy station, you know, so that's clearly going to be their strategy as of now, and Louis cannot get away. This was the guy who got second place in the first game, only losing to TBE, and gets revived, drops once again. That was a self-revive. He's going to go ahead and give up so that respawn timer can start quickly, because as far as Zyro as well as King, they're going to be elsewhere. And now Zyro on your screen, really good to see what he's going to be doing and flexing today. And up on a high ground from the stairwell, no Claymore, but a player camping at the top. He'll play it up, get a little bit more confidence, and now push up with his teammate.
8 eliminations towards this trio. Zyro looking for his first of the game, first for game 2. You didn't get a Claymore, but you got a player just looking at you, which is about as deadly as a Claymore would be.
It can be.
And you can hear the smoke call out, so I think they're just trying to make a late rotate through these buildings. But no, still hunting, never mind. All right, it looked like the play was forming for a second, broke down as one play pinched out and squeezed from the back. And they're trying to regroup back on the roof to get an opportunity to put more shots down. You might just get it.
Zyro knows there's a player just up. Fires a couple of shots. Does he get pushed? I don't think so. That player, he's not going to give up his high ground. So Zyro's going to have to push him or kind of pump the brakes a bit. Louis is down again. And this might be a bit of a sticking point. King AJ is also down to a sliver of health. He stays up. That could have got very dicey because Zyro, again, still has a player just above him. But the gang's going to be all back together again. And now we get to see if Louis CM is going to stay in the air and ping some players. This would be a great opportunity to give some more additional comms to Zyro as well as King.
Yeah, left roof up here. I think that might be Tommy though.
He's getting tagged from every angle. You also have to worry about now you're down to 5 plates, which is not any means a bad situation to be in, but they'll just kind of keep it available to you with more squads getting pinged. You got one to your right, one to the north.
AJ pushing me, bro.
Yeah. And it feels like they're fighting 2 or 3 different teams at this point. They haven't been able to locate just one player to kind of get the ball rolling.
Was it news?
Might be. You know, this could be a tightly compacted area. It is on the edge, and we were seeing teams such as Aydan and Co., you know, kind of land. Maybe not necessarily here. They were kind of more, I believe, on the... They were playing edge, like, towards Terminal.
Right.
But regardless, though, like, yeah, there could be quite a few teams here. And honestly, this is an awkward fight because you have so many rooftops and individual buildings. I mean, players could be anywhere. Case in point, right in front of you, Smixy will drop one, and she's not going to go for the full finish yet, which honestly isn't a bad play. And the reason why is because she pushes up. Maybe that player is getting revived. Maybe you're running into another, or at least a duo that's still alive. She plays her life effectively, but I also think a PA was able to pick up her down, and Attract was the one who kind of threw that. So good job on Smixy, but clearly more players around. She's choosing to hunker down.
And look where her teammates are as well. If you push out and you're caught out of position, you had Attract floating down, and you were still waiting for flanked on the other side, so there was nobody else around to help you secure this trio. But she can do it all herself. Continues just to light up from the opposite side, and does a nice job following in on the final kill. So did everything she needed to in the position, takes down 2. Her teammates now can move in for support, and she can try to pick players off from the sky, but dipping and diving, working out a dodge is how to get out of there quickly.
Yeah, smoke is down. She's gone. A good disengage, and she doesn't get chased. She does take a little bit more damage, but she manages to kind of find some rest, but she'll chill out for the time being. Attract did a really good job alleviating that pressure from the rooftop player, allowing Smixy to go ahead and heal up once again, and a lot of money in their inventory. Not as impactful on Resurgence Vondel, but regardless, it is still important late game whenever respawns are not available. But for now, man, they're playing the edge really hard, and Smixy was doing that great yesterday, especially when she was solo. Respawns were out. She was playing the edge and really maintaining her life for a higher placement.
Yeah, the money's going to be interesting because the closest buy station seems to be nowhere around them. But if they're able to get into position, maybe pop a couple of UAVs. She was getting hunted, so that's information for everybody else. Regardless, she stays alive and does her job to perfection. A huge win by that trio just to stay up. We'll see whether or not they can keep this rotation moving. Multiple nades tagging in the water. Flanked is so weak. will be able to plate up. Never mind. Scratch that. Still alive somehow. And they have to be very, very careful for the moment as they're getting caught as they rotate.
Getting caught just a bit. I think Flank managed to get away enough anyway, so he can kind of recover here. But Attract is down. That's a long respawn, brother. 20 seconds to stay up. Flank really has to play his life here. If I'm a trio that knows that I picked off 2, I am trying to hunt for Flank as quickly as possible. Kind of like what Hisoka is doing. He'll double back. He'll get Skullface back into play. And this is a talented roster here. Hisoka was number 4 after game number 1, and then last week, 2nd place. So this is a trio I'm looking to get first today.
Yeah, they really ran away with a lot of the points in the end and found themselves in top 2, which is huge for a team that we didn't see in the number 1 spot at a lot of our end games very consistently, but it doesn't really matter sometimes if you're not picking up the victory royale. Just the fact that you're staying consistent in the elimination department and racking up the multiplier, which is so huge for so many teams. They can keep that consistency moving today. Again, you're staying within the money of top 5. That's where you want to be. Z-Smith, Soka, and Skullface together. All so efficient as they try to make their move, and it looks like they're pinching onto a trio, let alone a player who is unsuspecting of their positioning.
I believe respawns are about to end, and they will be disabled now. So everybody has to play their life accordingly. If you're a solo, right, and respawns in, it's so much harder now. Your job just got that much more difficult. We already lose 2 teams. 2 teams within a matter of 10 seconds of respawns ending. Now we're at the top 10. And this trio here, Hisoka, Skullface, Z-Smith, are looking to win game number 2. If they do so, might be able to overtake Tommy, and Noobs, which we saw them a bit at the beginning. I don't know if they're still up or not, but Hisoka, comms are flowing, great line of sight, and a lot of open area in front of them.
Okay, looking at 9 trios left. 2 teams of those trios will only have 2 players up, so got to do the math there. You're hoping you can run in a third party and just play the number game if you can. You're probably going to be successful. Stack the numbers as always. We harp on it time and time again, but it's important. Some current points from your first map. It was Noobs with 42 and Biffle with 24.7 points overall, so a pretty big push from Noobs and company. Let's see if they can continue that.
Biffle on your screen now. This is a great game from them as well. So consistent, Space. So consistent. And that's what's going to make them scary today. Even if they're not winning games, they're going to for sure be an end game more often than not. I mean, they're going to have to be even more consistent today with 8 games versus 6 last week. But this is a roster that just knows how to play Vondel Resurgence. They do it so incredibly well. We move forward to Gorgonite Scummin and Irrational. Scummin on your screen takes a bit of damage, but is going to be okay. Notice on the minimap he's a bit separated from his roster, which could pay off actually. Self-revive going out for Gorgo, and it doesn't pay off, and now that's what I was talking about. That separation might pay off. He's going to be able to come in for the revive. It gets it just in a nick of time, Space.
Huge as well, because the zone crashing towards your back, you're going to get players rotating in, so now you have numbers you can play with. 6 eliminations on the board.
I saw my laser.
Well, the biggest gunfight Scum's going to have so far today comes down to just this small alleyway into the doorsteps. Will it be another victim for the moment? 13 seconds till zone locks. 8 squads up.
It's 3 of them.
They're running at you. Got you.
Player push again. Easy elimination. And that was FIFA kill. Oh, man. FIFA kill's such a great player. I can only imagine, right? He's kind of thinking like, oh, I got some safety. I got a safety net here. I know I eliminated 2 players. Maybe there's going to be a solo in there, and then run straight into the gunny, I believe, of Irrational, and gets taken down. FIFA kill, want to see a great performance from them. Last week, they were okay, but they weren't excellent. And I expect FIFA kill to be excellent in every single way, especially today playing with Rios, coming over from the NA side of things. And on the hunt is going to be Scum. And does he get it? Yes, he does. Put another one up into the score tally. This could be a high-scoring game from this trio.
Yeah, you're worried about players running in. The last person you'd want to run in is FIFA kill, so you get that elimination. Like, okay, you're cooking with something now. Again, no claymores in these close quarters, but, I mean, the subs can basically do the same thing. There's the smoke. Now you rotate. Smoke the cross. As old as time in Call of Duty, and you'll get away for free. And
Such
I
a
like
crazy
this.
rotate,
I like the
though.
separation reflections. Like they're trusting each other
Right.
to not only ping, but to find the information to collapse individually. And then when things go wrong, you bring in the extra numbers to finish the play.
They're in the windows.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you lose one player, you still potentially get another placement spot, or maybe, you know, in this case, right, we're looking at Scumming, and actually, everybody was able to get back into play. There was a rebuy somewhere, and I think because they split, they were able to do that. Now, we will lose Unrational once again, which puts Scumming and Gorgo to try and stay up as long as they possibly can. Scumming from the low end of things. Knows that he's top 6. He's been doing a great job playing the edge. Wouldn't surprise me if he tries to make a play up those stairs.
Nice. 2 in the water on you.
Yeah, it's very much high risk, high reward. You get the elimination. Nicely done to peek the corner. Whether or not it's a claymore, you got to peek your corner. Got to make sure nobody's just sitting around being quiet, and they are. Here comes the gas mask for safety, just in case, but shots through the back. Got to be careful here. Has a lot to work with and should be able to get out and escape. There goes the flare. Nicely done.
All right, so redeploy is in. He's going to get his teammate back into play, which is great at this point. You now have only 4 trios remaining. You've got him who's in the gas, playing with the gas mask. He knows he can rotate in. You've got that floating UAV who's now going to be able to ping players and just really give Scumming the lay of the land. Scumming moves up. This is such a smart play from him. But a sliver of health, he's going to drop from the player on the rooftop, self-revive, but surely he doesn't break it. He does not. Still a wonderful game. We transfer to Biffle, right? One of our most consistent trios here as they are alive, but you gotta get through Magnificent.
And of course, it was Biffle on the other side, right? You're thinking, was that Huskerrs up there? No, of course not. It's going to be Biffle and company who find that angle, and they're able to shut down the nice late surge from one trio that was making their mark, Scumming and company.
Follow me up.
Comms are lighting up for the moment. The final zone locks in 3 teams alive.
We don't want to.
Another one.
3 teams alive. Is that going to be one less? No, not just yet.
Yeah.
UAV is purchased. Look how quick that was. Goes into the gas, gets the UAV. They're trying. They're on the hunt. Sage is on a 10-kill streak. Very nice. And a 25-point game will come out. Incredible stuff. So 28 to 25. Both games. So high scoring space. And today's going to be great. I mean, we're only in game number 2, and we have seen a ton of great plays, wonderful trios, and the usual suspects, right, making some great plays.
It took us a while in the last event to get up to 25 elims for the peak, and so far we're just kind of hitting stride here. We've dropped down 3, but that is your total. 25 eliminations in game 2 for Biffle and company. That was the record in game 3 on the last time, so sitting here, they're back to where they used to be, and granted, they had a 2nd place finish in game 1, so, or at least points-wise, they had 2nd place finish in game 1, so they just put 25 plus the multiplier back on the table. This team should be in 1st place after the points do lock in for this 2nd game, but